Hello and welcome to Dukascopy TV. There are over 1.2 billion Muslims across the globe who are seeking to make investments that comply to their religious beliefs. In the last 5 years, there's been a significant jump in oil prices, and as a result, there's been a rapid expansion of Islamic banking. Today I'm joined by Dooley Awadalla to discuss this in further detail. Welcome, Dooley.
Thank you, Jen.
So for those who are not familiar with Islamic banking, what are the main differences between Islamic banking and traditional banking?
Well, I guess in a nutshell, you could say that in Islam, people view money as a means of valuation and not as an asset within itself. Therefore, it's considered unethical to gain interest on money. So, and also there are other areas of investments which Muslims would not consider, such as investments in alcohol or tobacco or pork-based products, etc. The thing is with Islamic banking is that it's very, there's always, it shadows conventional banking in many ways. And the difference being that, Islamic banking products have to pass through a Sharia board. So there's always kind of an added cost, perhaps, to a slight cost, the cost of the board approval, etc., and a cost in terms of time, in terms of having these products approved. So although Islamic banking is an interesting alternative, pretty much everything we do in an Islamic transaction can be replicated in a conventional manner and perhaps at less cost.
Since the euro crisis, some actually believe it's a safer option than traditional banking. Do you think this is true, and why?
Well, I think that in general, Islamic transactions such as murabaha, etc., tend to be based on an underlying commodity. So that might perhaps provide a slight extra level of safety. But in general, also investments that are Islamically based tend to take place in various emerging markets that are perhaps less correlated to the Western markets, which are currently in crisis.
All right, thank you. And other than those who practice Islam, who else is interested in Islamic banking?
Well, anybody really who would be interested in investing ethically, in nothing which would exploit women or in alcohol or tobacco or firearms, etc. So that would be interesting. And also people looking to access GCC markets. Okay. And so that would be interesting for them as well.
All right. And some believe that differing interpretations of Islamic law is causing problems standardizing products in the markets. And what do you believe? Well,
I think if you start to standardize products, then you're going to stifle a little bit creativity and the creativity for the market to evolve and for new products to emerge. I think it's important that perhaps the market be more transparent. I think a lot of people don't really understand what the underlying mechanism is below some of these Islamic financial transactions. So I think transparency is important, and also I think regulation. I don't think there's any standardized regulatory body which kind of applies across the region. So I think that's important, more so than standardization in and of itself.
And in Malaysia, sometimes debt is allowed to be traded in transactions. This has caused some problems because some people in the Gulf think that Malaysian interpretation is too flexible. What are your thoughts?
I see both sides on this. I can understand why the conservatives and the hardliners would see that as being too flexible or not perhaps strictly in line with Islamic teachings. But on the other hand, I think the fact that it is tradable makes it a much more practical instrument, and it opens it to a whole new, universe of investment. I think that a lot of people would not consider investing in these instruments if they weren't easily tradable or if there was no secondary market. So personally, I believe they should be tradable. However, I understand why some people believe it's not in touch with conservative thinking.
Thank you very much, Dooley, for sharing your thoughts on Islamic banking.
Thank you, Doireann.
That's all we have time for right now, but stay tuned to Dukascopy TV, and tomorrow I'll be back to look at ethics and training in finance. Goodbye for now.